Podcast Charge!
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 137 of Lost in Translationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
And this time we watch Digimon Savers, the movie Ultimate Power Activate Burst Mode.
Also known as Digimon Savers the movie, the big waste of time.
Also known as this did not get an English release.
Because why would it?
I feel like if it got an English release it would just be dumb jokes, dumb joke, dumb joke.
Think of how many lines they would have had to write. New lines for that 3-minute fight scene that's all silence at the beginning.
There's actually not a lot of talking in this movie.
No, there isn't, but that's specifically, and you can tell the art direction is, there is no talking for this because it's important. But how often would they be throwing lines in? Oh my god, it's so quiet. That's probably the reason.
The sausage scene.
We're going to write 3 minutes of unique dialogue for everyone. And in this movie with no plot whatsoever. What do we do?
I'd actually be interested to know why they didn't actually produce this movie. Maybe Jeff Nimoy knows. I'll try to tweet at him.
I would assume that it's because by the time Savers finished, it was limping to the finish line of, oh my god, we can't be bothered.
I know that a lot of people didn't watch Savers because they were now 13 and 14 and thought that they were too old for Digimon.
And so they were.
So they probably stopped watching Digimon at that time. I didn't watch Stardust Squad when it came out. I don't even know if I had access to it. It might have been on cable. I don't know. I didn't see it advertised anywhere. I don't even think I saw the toys.
What's your favourite Stardust Squad? My favourite was Squirtle, Charmander, and Bulbasaur.
Totodile.
I love Stardust Squad.
Anyway, on to the show. For DigiNews this week, for LostinTranslationmon, unfortunately, we delayed last week's manga podcast about the start of Digimon Next. And this is delayed due to timing. The week before we released, there was episodes out for 5 days straight.
We did the manga one the week before, so we had to give ourselves a break.
So this time it's only delayed a week. We will do it next week. Hopefully recording maybe this weekend, maybe sometime after work. Next week, not sure, but we will try to get it done and out by Wednesday our time. Probably Wednesday afternoon, evening maybe? Yeah, Wednesday evening it would come out by.
I have no idea.
Well, it depends on when we record it, but definitely Wednesday evening or Wednesday night. And then also the end of season summary survey has been put together. I haven't actually posted about it because I've been super busy at work this week and super busy after work as well. So I haven't had much time to put it, it's together. I just haven't sent it out.
The professional survey we've ever done because you have so much more experience with surveys now a year later.
I've been working there 3 years. So I'll actually send it out when I'm sending the raw out for this podcast, so it will be out tonight. Obviously 12 hours before the actual full release of this episode when it's all edited. And also there's no obnoxious synopsis this week because we saw a movie and we don't do obnoxious synopsis for movies.
Yeah.
Especially when they're basically non-canonical and nonsensical.
And neither will be the one for next week because that's a recap.
Yeah, and that's a recap. So no obnoxious synopsis till... And you can't really do it for Cross Wars, the first episode of Cross Wars, so it'll be...
I can try with a few basic details and the titles.
No, but that's usually done in the summary episode at the end. We've done that for every other season. We've had a segment where we talk about the next season.
Yes.
And we watch the opening.
Right,
I show you photos, I show you the Digivices.
As in there won't be a segment at the beginning of 2 episodes from now.
Man, I will be recording that not from here. I'll either be recording from your house or from being...
Other place.
Yeah, because I'm moving. Also, I guess that's a little bit not NewsLatelymon. I'm hopefully moving with a friend.
In fact, we may skip an episode so that you can move and everything will be smooth because it's actually a very involved process. No one would blame you if that derailed some things in your life.
No, I can...
you don't have the full Saturday morning to edit, for example.
Yeah, wake up early.
No, you're going to be moving stuff.
And not at 6 a.m.
Then you should be sleeping to get energy for moving stuff.
I'm fine. I've got the source.
It's really involved.
So I'm actually moving in with a friend. We've mentioned him before. It's Brady. I'm going to get him on the show one day.
The death of the show.
And that episode will never come out because he's like Matt, but not as bad.
Yeah, because you'd have to censor everything he said. It'd be you're just talking to yourself.
I'd love Matt to be on the podcast, but I don't think I can.
You could with just the whistle going over everything he says.
Yeah, it'd be like, "Hi Matt, how you doing?" Beep 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 beep. No, but maybe I'll get Brady on the podcast one day because I'll be hopefully living with him. I sent the application to join his lease, and it's a big 4 minutes drive away from my house at the moment.
Solid.
It's very far. It's basically near where I was born, so I have not moved very far in my life. So yeah, I guess that's kind of biggish news. We'll be either recording at the apartment or we'll be recording at Jay's, depending on how hot it is, because my future potential flatmate does not like using the aircon because it's expensive. So it is often 50 degrees
when
Celsius.
there are 2 people, it will be less of an issue.
I keep on saying, it's okay, we can still pay, both of us can pay for the aircon. He's like, nah, it's fine. No, it's not. It's 50 degrees in your apartment most of the time.
It sounds like you should be volunteering to pay for it then.
Yeah, I think I might. But both of us are migraine sufferers. But in any case, releases may change or may sound different for a bit as we get things together. But yeah, we're not sure if we'll be recording the apartment because it's a very small apartment, or if I'm recording with Jays. But we'll work that out. On to the show. The movie starts off with a sad Agumon crying in the rain, and he's looking at Masaru in some sort of pod.
You mean pool of pee?
That too, but a pod.
It's yellow liquid. So we see all these I guess pods, yeah, sure. They're like in spider silk, I guess, which is something that I think it wants you to not think about later because it is never ever explained.
It looks very alien as well.
Yeah, and so actually, let's rewind slightly to the opening credits, which are just visions of the city, and because everything's covered in plants, I'm like, oh, this is digital world, okay. And it becomes very clear. I think what the feeling they wanted you to have is, oh, it's a digital world, oh wait, no, there's too many buildings, oh, and also there's a human there, it must be the real world, oh god, what's happened, because it's in the sepia tone, and there's a lot of stuff there to make it feel not real.
Yep. And
so you see this girl in blue, and you're like, who is that? I've never seen that character before. Then you see Agumon crying in the rain. No, the rain is first, then you see Agumon crying normally, it's not raining anymore, and he's looking at all these pods, and only some of them you can see inside, only the ones that matter.
But what I just want to say, that the whole, the way that the city's done up, it does look like it's been a while since it's been populated.
Yeah, no, the city's busted up.
It's almost like the last scene in Spirited Away, where she's just gone home and everything's, grown over, the car's grown over, just to show that the passage of time.
And similarly, the first thing that's basically said is that Lalamon and Galmon show up and they go, Agumon, you're still here? As if the kids have been in these pods for a long time.
As if Lalamon and Galmon have both given up, basically. Yeah. They've said, you're still here, why are you still here?
My immediate feeling is it was a week, but it could have been it could have been a month or more.
Yeah. Also, we don't have Ikuto or Falcomon anywhere in the whole movie, and I just thought because I didn't actually realise that Ikuto and Falcomon were missing until we were watching the Digimon Savers character songs earlier, and they had, the art from Savers, and I was just like, oh, Ikuto and Falcomon were not in this movie.
Not only were they not here, they were literally never mentioned once.
Yes.
So they're not part of this at all.
Which is weird, because they always, they were always on the same level as at least Yoshino, right?
Yes, you would think as low as Yoshino is, that's the level that they were.
So I just found that a bit weird because she's still they are still characters like Ikuto and Falcomon.
They then identify that it's the vines that's keeping the kids asleep. And there's some interesting questions about this whole mechanic that I have, and they're like, why do the vines put these people to sleep? And I don't think that's ever satisfactorily answered. I don't mean the mechanics of it. I mean, why are they asleep? And you can have your knee-jerk reaction of, well, the bad guy doesn't like humanity, so he put them all to sleep. But if he didn't like them, why wouldn't he just kill them? I can't figure out why the thing just puts them to sleep.
No, that is a main question. Agumon looks pretty much strong enough to kill a human. Maybe it's easier to put them all into pods than killing, billions and billions of humans, I guess.
But if you can travel your vines everywhere and control them, what's the word? If they're all prehensile and you can just control them.
Oh, you can strangle them, yeah.
Yeah, just stab them with the thorns or strangle them all, it would just go.
This could be easily explained if we just said that they were his life source and he was
like the Matrix.
Yeah, he was just he is a plant and he digs his roots into the ground and he gets nutrients from the ground, but instead of that he's getting the nutrients from the people.
That would have made sense if his thing at the end of the movie hadn't been, oh, I'm mad now, I'm just going to destroy the planet because I hate you.
Yeah.
If destroying the planet was within, or killing all humans was within the parameters of his original plan, there is no reason he wouldn't have already done it.
Goblymon and an Ogremon are chasing the girl that we saw before, and Agumon, Galmon, and Lalamon go to rescue her. And what I notice in this whole bit is the animation seems to be a lot higher budget than the whole of the actual series.
Well, that would make sense. They got a full movie budget for 20 minutes.
It looks really good.
Not enough for writing, but enough for 20 minutes of animation.
Except for later on when we see Agumon from far away, and it's kind of it's a bit of a smear.
That's off model.
It's for about 30 seconds he just looks really strange.
My favorite, okay, not favorite, one of the silly things I've got here is you really have to understand the context of what Agumon is saying, or the thing he says and does seems funny. For example, the reason he goes after her, he goes, we have to help, we have to go after her, is what he says. That's what a man would do. And then I wrote down, yes, chasing after a fleeing woman, what a man would do.
Jeez, but
then he hits a fireball to the face, protects her. Then, like a man would do, he drags her down an alley.
Oh, Oh, but actually, back to what he says. Like he does quote Masaru a lot in this film.
This is the best part of the movie.
Yes.
Is Agumon's always
Actually,
like, I'm doing the thing Masaru would do.
The best part of the movie for me, and yes, I did love how Agumon was quoting Masaru and saying, what would Aniki do? And he was constantly talking about Aniki and saying what Aniki would say. Is Lalamon fighting with the sausage?
You mean, that's one bit. It's actually a theme throughout the entire movie, is this weird karate plant. And
Why did she never do this in the series?
Because she's fighting one of the Digimon later, and she does the big, like, whoa, punch to the stomach. And it's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing in the movie by a long way.
I will again disagree with you. I really liked when she's like, she just beats it up, like the Gobion up with the sausage, and then she's still spinning the air, and then she just go, ha!
Why is a plant eating meat?
It's a Venus flytrap.
It's not, though.
The other part of the movie I liked is, and I guess it's all part of this scene, and like this scene is just all fighting with sausages sometimes, and
a 3-minute scene of silence,
and Rhythm holding like a pan. It's quite like this is the best part of the movie is this entire scene.
Maybe, yeah, it's probably arguable.
Anyway, so another part that I like is Lalamon's eating the sausage, and Rhythm is also eating the sausage, and Agumon shows up, and he wants to also eat a sausage, and then Galmon he beats up on a Goblimon, turns around and says, "Can I have one too?"
Yeah, it's cute.
It is, like, this part of the movie, I was just like, yeah, this is really good, and I think I enjoyed it mainly because of this intro scene.
And it's you can see there's, like, a strong artistic direction to this, like, they had an idea, and they must have run out of budget, or, like, they must have had all their ideas on paper, and then when they got to animating it, they were, like, told, by the way, these are your constraints now.
Yeah.
Because it just always feels like there's something good and then there's a restriction.
Rhythm tells the characters that Agumon wants to destroy the world.
I've called her in my notes Mako because she's like this random newcomer who's the center of everyone's attention for no reason.
Aww.
She's clearly the most important person on screen.
She calls Agumon a frog, like Mr. Frog.
I don't understand why she does this.
Well, it's a running gag in Digimon Savers. Agumon is constantly called a frog.
By humans.
Yes, it is also weird that Rhythm is a Digimon.
So here's the thing. I am 100% convinced. And I'd forgotten she had this hat on by the end of the movie. Because by the end of the movie, she has her hat off and she has little wings on her head.
Uh-huh.
It didn't occur to me until I was going back to get my screenshot of the week that the reason she has her hat on and she says this frog stuff and her name is Rhythm and not Rhythmon is because the fact that she is a Digimon is meant to be a big surprise and reveal. And so there must have been a change of plans at some point where they go, well, we can't make it a plot anymore because she no longer does anything important. So she's just going to be on a boat and just be like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a Digimon, which is the most anticlimactic, uninteresting thing in the world. Yeah, you think
it'd be a big reveal, or maybe she has amnesia and she doesn't remember that she's a Digimon. Then she takes it off and she's like, oh no, but I'm a Digimon, rah! And she has this big attack. But
there should be a question, why weren't you captured by these things? Literally no one ever asks. And was there ever a moment where they took the hat off and they focused on the wings like, surprise, did you know? No, they didn't, because they don't care. And it seems to me there was an idea for a movie, and I think those ideas were interesting. One of the things they say at the end is fascinating. But there's just nothing. They've thrown them all out the door because, well, we have to have them all fight.
See, you know how we said that X Evolution feels like it seemed like it missed a bit of explanation, like it needed a bit more time, but also it needed less time, if that makes sense?
No,
I think that this one needs an extra half an hour.
This one definitely needs another half an hour.
Like, I think I agree with you. It does feel like it needs to be longer. I feel like they just it ended very abruptly.
I also think the plot of this movie must have been changed significantly from about the boat scene onwards, because like the way it all ends and it just does the standard Digimon thing all the way to the end. Like literally, this could have been any filler episode of the season, and you wouldn't have noticed the difference.
Yep.
I feel like they must have changed that as well, because especially how Rhythm was not involved.
Yeah, no, Rhythm, basically if you took Rhythm out, nothing would have changed.
Why wouldn't they start calling her Rhythmon?
I have no idea. Well, she says she likes to be called Rhythm.
She must not be a Digimon.
Actually, this reminds me of one of the Digimon Adventure 02 CD dramas. It was called, I believe, The Doors to Summer, where Daisuke goes to visit Mimi and also meets Willis.
Where is he, though? When is he going to get introduced? I've watched 2 seasons of the show.
Lotmon has come back to life and is now a baby.
So cute.
And Daisuke meets a girl, and he falls in love with her. Mm-hmm. And her name's Natsu, which means summer, I believe.
Is she Natsumon for real, though?
She's actually a Digimon.
Of course she is. That's a plotline in all Digimon stuff.
Yeah, and then
02.
And then the end.
Cyber Sleuth.
Like, she's like, I wish you could have been my my chosen child, and then she goes away.
And he's like, I wish you could have been my girlfriend. Puberty's confusing.
Girlfriend Mon? And no, it just reminds me of that because I feel like that's the only 2 times we've seen like a human who's a Digimon. I also really do like Rhythm's design though.
It's fine. It's decent. There's nothing wrong with it. She would fit in just fine as a chosen child because she has just enough going on that like she's distinctive, but not enough going on that she's weird.
The fairy wings could honestly just be a hair tie, basically.
That's for a while.
Well, in the credits scene, we actually see Agumon with it on.
With what on?
The ribbon.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, so at the end, so it's like they've got sort of a blooper
And
reel
there's the guitar guy
in the credits.
The guy just playing the music.
But it's really cute, and he's got the tie on his head. It's really cute.
What weirds me out about this movie?
I'll just show you a picture.
Oh yeah, he's got little wings on him. What weirds me out about this movie is this point here, and what makes it feel like what's going on just isn't real. Is Mako's like, oh yeah, by the way, it's Argomon, and all the Digimon partners go, what the hell is an Argomon? Like they've not only do they not know what has happened, they've not known what's happened for like a month, and they've just been staring the entire time, not figuring it out. And this would be fine because that's actually interesting for once in ever the first time ever a Digimon show. For the first time ever, a Digimon show like where the main characters are not the center. They weren't at the center of all the problems, so they wouldn't know what's going on. It's a mystery. Something weird has happened.
Yep.
However, when she takes them over to the castle, which is the size of a skyscraper and has big purple jewels poking out of it,
and eyes,
and they're like, and she goes, "That's Argomon's castle," and they go, "Whoa, we didn't see that before."
It's also like the beanstalk in Digimon Frontier.
To be fair about that one, that's a thing where you're in the digital world and you go, and maybe it's a weird thing that you just didn't see on camera. But this is like, oh, one of the buildings transformed. I guess we never noticed.
It's like in Digimon Tamers, if they were trying to look for the D Reaper, and there was still the government, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government building that still has a big D Reaper on it.
Yep.
And they're just looking around saying, "Where's the D Reaper? Where's the D Reaper? Where's Jury?" And then someone just says, "Up." And they just look up like, ah!
Actually, I do think that Argomon looks like Vamdemon crossed with the D-Reaper. That's what I think he is.
Basically. And a bit like Mephistomon in the Tamers movie as well, Battle of Adventures. I think it's just because he looks like a generic bad guy sort of thing.
Except with the eyes. That's
also,
a special thing.
When he evolves, he looks a bit like Majora's Mask.
Ooh.
I think it's mainly because of the colours, though.
But
when you see his face, he just looks like the mask from Majora's Mask. You know, the mask. Then we have a scene where they're going to fight and go up to the top of Agumon. Galmon leaves to fight some Goblimon, which is a random choice of Digimon, by the way.
And also, like, it's the exact same thing that happened when they went to the Yggdrasil tree. Like, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah, when they all separate. Galmon left first, and then Lalamon left second. So, by the way, we learned that Lalamon is able to carry Rhythm and Agumon with just herself.
She's never been able to do that before.
She's very strong.
I always got the sense that she wasn't flying. She was hovering.
Yeah.
But now it is clear she's flying.
She's carrying them quite well. And it's really confusing about why they don't evolve, considering we know that they can evolve without their partners, just with emotion.
Yeah, but maybe they don't care enough.
Yeah, well, they have given up about their partners being alive.
Now they feel Zetsubo.
Zetsubo.
Despair.
Kibo. Zetsubo.
That's not going to get annoying.
So then Lalamon leaves to fight, then Agumon is at the top, and Agumon, not Argomon,
that's not going to get annoying.
Says that he's the bad guy, and Agumon says that humans are evil because they soil the earth for money and destroy the natural environment. And I kind of liked this because, and you look, the way you're looking at me, you're saying that you didn't like this. But
I don't.
I liked this because he is like a plant dude, and he's very like, you know, natural environment, and he's annoyed at the humans who are like soiling the natural environment. And that's a lot better than just saying humans are corrupt, humans will do anything for money or power. It's explicitly not what humans do to each other, but it's just what humans do to the environment. And this is a very good point. Like, this is not said in any of Digimon Savers. I feel like it's a new take on the humans are awful.
Counterpoint, he's a Digimon from the digital world, so A, why does he care what they do to Earth? Because he's not from there. His environment is a different environment.
I think he just relates to it.
But why did he come over to do this?
Because he still thinks about... I think he likes all environments. I think he likes Earth. Because he's not saying, I wanted to take over Earth.
And second of all, how does he know what money is? This digital world doesn't have it.
We don't know that.
Well, we've never seen any evidence of it.
I still think we don't know it.
And, it doesn't... His motivation, while it's it's environmentally based, it doesn't really make sense. Because first of all, how could this Digimon exist without whole sections of the digital world being completely covered in these vines?
Rebuttal. He actually does say the problems that the humans have caused in their own environment has started to affect the digital world's environment.
That makes no sense. It's the digital world. In fact, the more technology we make to hurt our environment, the better off the digital world should be.
But I'm just saying, I feel like that's fine.
Second of all, Why, if he thinks humans are so dangerous, did he put them to sleep and not kill them?
Mm.
And then, if he is so into the environment, why would he say he's going to destroy the world?
Also, where are the other Digimon? Where are Pawn Chessmon, Knight Chessmon,
Irrelevant.
Kudamon?
If he's so environmentally
Kamimon.
friendly, why would his response to, oh, you hit me in the face, be, I'm going to destroy the earth?
I feel like that's just him losing his temper.
But if you
No, I
lose your
see your
temper,
point.
you don't completely lose track of the reason you're doing
Also,
all this
he
stuff.
does say it's because it's affecting the digital world.
But then why would he not kill the humans or destroy the earth from the beginning? I don't
That's
understand why he does these things.
Agumon says the usual thing of like, but anarchy is good. Humans may be bad, but anarchy is good.
Which is actually a very weak argument in the case where you're not talking about human nature. You're talking about these are the things that everyone has already done. And that, yeah, your guy didn't contribute, but there's 6 billion others who did. On the other hand, when it was just Kurata did a bad thing and I'm reacting to that event, which we found out was 7 years ago in the recap, like that's different because you can just separate him out. But this is like, oh no, humanity did all these things. Agumon's reaction is actually just dumb.
Yeah. Rhythm reflects on how the Digimon are fighting for humans, so then she pleads with Agumon and says that she thinks that humans can be good.
And it goes nowhere.
Yeah, so as we said before, Rhythm could just be removed. Like, I do honestly feel like there was meant to be some relation between Rhythm and Agumon.
It is implied at the end, and it is the coolest idea, and yet it is not explored at all. At the very end, when she has the Agumon egg in her hand, she goes, now I think I have the strength to fight Agumon. And that's a weird thing for her to say when he's been defeated and he's an egg, and one assumes that when you hatch out and you've got no memories, then you'll start all over again. The implication to me is that they have been doing this as a cycle forever.
Or maybe that's why she's called Rhythm. Like, it's the sort of, it's nature, but nature also needs to be controlled because it will go wild otherwise.
It could be.
And she's keeping the rhythm. She's like the homeostasis, kind of like, she desires stability, and she's sort of like a god in the way that she has to keep things in the rhythm. She has to keep things equal.
And I think that's really interesting. And obviously the movie has nothing to do with that, but it could have.
Yeah.
And it could have been this cool balance between like the big Digimon monster thing and then the human side of Digimon. Like, she's clearly human-like.
Yeah, or maybe she's meant to be holding the rhythm between the digital world and the human world, and the natures that interact between the two.
Balance and harmony are both better words for it. If she was called Harmony, this would make way more sense.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
And also,
Japan,
no, Harmon.
It could be.
Digimon, Harmon, Harmony.
That's all right as well. Like, there's so many ways they could have done this.
Harmon too. Harmony, get it?
Yeah, it's good. I wonder if there's a basis for Agumon. I haven't thought of any particularly. If it was Arbomon, it would make more sense.
Well, there's already an Arbomon.
I know.
We know him.
So, like, there was the basis of like an interesting story in here. Maybe this is a lot like Frontier, except Frontier gave it a shot and failed, whereas this one didn't even give it a shot. Yeah. So the rest of this movie, like literally the rest of this movie, is just a Digimon fight.
Okay. It's meant to be Algomon, as in algorithm. Algorithm.
That makes way more sense. That makes a lot more sense.
So it's not Algomon, it's
Algomon. Algo and rhythm.
Yes.
That's cute.
But there's still no... The movie doesn't tell us this.
No, it never does, because it doesn't matter. If rhythm was not in this movie, the only thing that would have changed is that the Digimon wouldn't have known about where Agumon's base is, except that Agumon's base is so giant and massive you couldn't miss it, and his plan had no time limit on it. In fact, you could argue, and I think this argument is strong, the only reason that they were being attacked by Digimon getting to the tower was because Rhythm was there.
Yes. Well, the Goblimon weren't attacking Agumon, Galmon, Lalamon. They were attacking Rhythm.
And you wouldn't need to climb up inside the tower, because obviously Lalamon is strong enough to carry both Galmon and Agumon by themselves.
Yes.
They would have been perfectly fine on their own.
Basically, yes.
There is an argument to be made that the only thing that she did really was be a human face, although she is not human, so Agumon has something to protect, and that's what makes him particularly strong. But that's dumb. That's like not a good answer.
Also, I think I might have been wrong about Lotmon coming back in the Adventure Zero 2 drama CD. It is called The Draw Into Summer though, and it is about someone called
Maybe it's another one then. So basically, Agumon gets sick of talking and does a big fire shoot on Agumon's face, and despite Agumon being a perfect, which is not actually all that intimidating, is it?
It was also a plant, and he's setting fire to a plant, so you can almost say that he's just Agumon didn't really beat him. He just sort of set fire to him. Also, he
that
evolves
is
anyway.
not how green plants work.
You can set fire to them, and they.
If you have a green plant, they're not flammable. Go grab like a fresh green leaf. You can't set it on fire.
Really?
You can burn through it eventually, but like.
Well, to be fair, he evolves, so.
No, he obviously no, but like when Agumon just shooting fire out of his face at a perfect level, basically, if you take a handful of leaves and throw it on fire, they're not going to burn; they're just going to smoke a lot.
Okay, yeah.
The whole thing is you take dried leaves, dried wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how that works. So Agumon just does it, and it makes him so angry. He's like, "I'm going to destroy the planet because I'm angry." And then Agumon falls off the thing with rhythm, and no one saves them. They just don't take fall damage when they hit the ground.
No, but also what I noticed watching this is that I'm pretty sure that the voice of Agumon, if this had an English dub, would be the voice of literally every bad guy, and he'd have the Devilmon voice.
Yeah, it would be every time.
Because I feel like it would just fit. But we've had that voice in basically every season as just the bad guy. Basically. He was also Kirpymon. Why do I say Trubimon? I always say Kirpymon because the detector.
Also, Agumon evolves at this stage. He turns into an egg, and he turns into Venom Agumon.
I thought you said Agumon for a second.
Venom Agumon.
No, he's just called Agumon, but he's the ultimate version instead of the perfect
version. That makes no sense!
Some Digimon are just like that.
He's not ultimate mode.
Some Digimon just don't change their name as they evolve.
Give another example.
Wamon is Wamon Adult and Wamon Perfect.
That's really stupid.
There's a few Digimon who do that. There's some Digimon who have the same name, like from child to ultimate. I just can't remember their names.
Oh, also when he hits Agumon with the fire blast for the first time, and he does the evolving stuff, all of the vines die. Like they just shrivel and die. And now at this point, Agumon's on the ground, and he's struggling. And I've literally written in my notes, spoiler: the vines died, so Masaru's obviously awake, and he's going to come by and help Agumon. And 10 to 30 seconds later, exactly that happened.
Which is kind of annoying. Like, I kind of was enjoying the interesting nature of just having Digimon there.
I think I like it, but the problem is it was too obvious. And it was so obvious that the show then lies to you. When Masaru goes, yeah, your attack woke up the fire in my heart.
I think Masaru's lying. I think
no, it didn't.
Masaru doesn't know how he woke up. Masaru's just saying, that sounds good, because that's what a man would say.
The problem to me is that Masaru acts as though he knows what Agumon said and what happened on the roof. There is no way he could possibly know.
Unless he was watching the whole time, just waiting.
No, he was in the pod.
Yes.
He was in the pod on the other end of the city.
They might be just awake in the pod. Like, they might be conscious.
Even if you're awake, you can't see multiple kilometers away.
Yes.
In fact, how did he get there so quickly?
Good point, yes. Because it was also then he had 20 minutes.
There is an answer you could have given me and it would have made me really laugh.
What?
It's that they fight against common sense.
Or, and bear with me here.
Did you not see the recap episode yet?
No, because we're watching that next week.
Okay, so to clarify, what happens in the recap episode is multiple times they will talk about something that happened in Savers that made no sense, i.e. teleporting into a fireball, or like when Agumon evolves but doesn't evolve, it's just Agumon but bigger and laser. And they go, what's up with that? Like they literally just ask, what happened there? And Agumon goes, oh, Anarchy and I, we fight against common sense. That's what we do. And they're like, what? It doesn't matter.
Okay, they should have a spin-off series where Masaru and Agumon go to, England maybe, Great Britain, and it's called Anarchy in the UK.
Ooh. I bet you thought that was real funny.
Yes, I did.
Oh, but I thought that was great. Oh, we're just moving right on. And we are onto the home stretch of a big Godzilla-style fight because Masaru obviously makes Agumon evolve.
Yeah, he punches Agumon, most important thing.
Straight up. And then he brings out the J.O. Grey sword.
Which lasts for about 5 seconds.
Burst mode is nigh, and the sword's gonna break.
So Ellie Vorg said we should count how many times it's useful after its introduction. The answer is 0 because it breaks every other time. It has more deaths than Leomon.
No, it doesn't. That's not true.
It dies.
Sword's broken 3 times. Leomon's died way more than 3 times.
Okay, maybe. In this series.
The sword doesn't exist elsewhere.
I know, but in this series, Leomon has only died...
Twice.
And the sword has died more than twice.
Only because of this movie. It was equal before this. They had broken as many swords as they had broken Leomon.
Jesus, that's a lot.
And so there's a big Godzilla-style fight in the bay for whatever reason.
And Masaru says how humans are foolish, but they can change and realize their mistakes, and that's evolution, which is more or less what he said in the series at some point. Like, I'm pretty sure that exact line. Also, but it's fine.
It occurred. This is the bit where I go, why is he saying that? He does not know what the bad guy's motivation is. He has never been told. He couldn't possibly know that this is a response to anything Agumon was saying. So, in my mind, he goes, well, all the bad guys are angry about this, so why wouldn't that be the problem? And then, burst mode happens and he wins. And it occurs to me, Agumon has nothing going on.
No.
Think about every bad guy in every movie. They have some advantage. They have something special about them. In this movie, besides the Vines thing, Agumon has nothing going on.
Yggdrasil had something. Like, Yggdrasil wanted to reboot the world.
No, I don't mean like a motivation. I mean like a power. And in the movies. So Yggdrasil was a god. That's not relevant. What I'm talking about.
No. I'm talking about Next Evolution.
That's what I'm talking about too. It was a crystal ball, and that's something going on. But moreover, I'm thinking of like in the 02 movie, they were brought into like the red extra world, and they were a shapeshifter.
Only in the original.
I know, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then in Hurricane Touchdown, it was like reality bending.
He put people to sleep. Like that's what Agumon did.
And there was time travel. He put people back in time.
No, yeah, he reversed the clock on.
That's
like
crazy.
de-aged people.
That's special. In the first movie, in our war game, he was super multiplied.
Our war game's the best.
In the very first prologue thing, it came out of the sky, and it was a big bird we never ever saw again.
Yeah.
It doesn't count as much because it was an introduction
I just want to talk
Digimon.
about Paramon for a second, but I am shocked that Paramon isn't seen in more things, because that's one of the first Digimon we see. And you can't... I think he's even in the V-Pets. I think he might be in the Pendulum, maybe.
It occurs to me that they made a huge mistake with that not being a Kuwagumon.
Yes.
It was clearly meant to be. But yeah, so... No, in every movie, the bad guy has something going on, even like when they're like a train, so that there is an interesting thing to the fight. But there is so little time in this episode, the only thing that they can have in the fight is the direct fighting and churn through those evolutions, because that's all the kids care about.
Also, you keep on calling it an episode, because that's basically what
it is. It's an episode length.
Yeah.
Churn through the evolutions, that's all everyone cares about, and you'll just win the fight. There's nothing interesting going on.
Also, the only thing that Rhythm does is arguably, like, when Masaru gets to burst mode, Rhythm touches the Digivice.
It does nothing.
I think this may be because this movie came out before the introduction of burst mode. So this is an alternate introduction to burst mode. That's why it's called Activate the Power Burst Mode. Like, it's some sort of big important title, even though it doesn't have actually anything to do with the movie. Like, what would you call this movie?
I would call this movie like invasion of the partner snatchers.
Yeah, like
or something.
Invasion or something involving like the whole plants.
Why do the Goblymon follow Algomon?
I don't know either.
They're
green.
goblins.
They're both green.
It must be that, right? How lazy is that? And like,
well, I know. I think Woodmon evolves into Algomon.
That's fine.
But I'm trying to work out if Goblimon evolves into Woodmon.
But basically, the bad guy, when he's actually fighting Shine Greymon, all he does is punch. He does nothing interesting. And at this point you go, think back in the movie, is there anything interesting about this movie, right? Is there a story to be told here that mean they should have it? And the only interesting thing in this movie is Rhythm, and only because they're a mystery.
Yes.
And that's never talked about, and it may as well not have existed. And then Rhythm appears to add that power for the final evolution, but clearly doesn't. She's just yelling. And then Shining Greymon wins easily, like no struggle, just wins. But there's so much damage to the city that how could they not have noticed it? And then Rhythm takes the egg of the bad guy and just says, I'm going home now.
Unless this is just after the Kurata fight and the world is already in turmoil. Because that's the only time this could take place, though.
No, but it couldn't. Because, like, everything happens immediately after the Kurata fight.
Okay.
Because the world's connected. The sky would be full of digital worlds. So what we can say is the reason... Okay, Agumon sees that the worlds are connected. And he's just like... This is the humans' fault, and this is what he meant when he says that what the humans have done has affected the digital world. But it couldn't be that, right? Because the moment Kurata's fight ends, the digital world is in the sky. In this movie, it's not.
Okay, yes, good point.
And at the very end of the story, the first thing that happens is Masaru goes away to the digital world forever.
But I'm just saying that's the only part this movie could take place is after Kurata.
And it clearly doesn't.
Because we had burst mode during the Kurata arc. Yes.
Yes, that was when it was introduced.
But we didn't have Mirage Galgamon burst mode because that was in the Royal Knights arc.
Well, Toma's not in this movie.
Yes, but I'm just saying that's fine. But I still think it's probably like the only time it could be is after Kurata.
But it couldn't be.
Anyway, so
and then she says, "I'm taking the egg.
Yeah.
And I can now fight him. I have the courage to fight."
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing because it obviously implies so much more going on.
She should have become like her Digimon form at this point, or like
that is her Digimon form. She has wings on her head.
Yeah, but that says, "Oh, my real name is Rhythmon" or whatever.
Yeah, she never does. They keep calling her Rhythm Chan the whole time. I can't figure out why she said you look like a frog. All the Digimon know each other. They know what that is. That's an Agumon.
Unless she's not actually Digimon, she's lying.
No, she is. That's how she wasn't captured.
I feel like she should have been like the Geni sort of thing.
But that's what this was meant to be. Like, it was meant to be like an oh my god moment. Of course she wasn't captured. Someone was meant to ask, why weren't you captured by the vines?
Yeah.
Is that why the Goblin are chasing you? No, it's because she's the enemy of their boss.
I know, but I still feel like that she shouldn't have been a Digimon. She should have been like a Geni of I am neither human nor Digimon.
I guess. I think that she should just given her name at the end.
Or just been homeostasis or whatever.
And then she says, I love you to Agumon. But I know.
It's Daisuke desu.
I know enough Japanese, so she didn't say Aishiteru. She said Daisuke. And
or
so that's fine.
Yeah. Also, Lalamon's is
She
all
said
like,
the easy one. And then it just ends. And then there was nothing to it.
No, she kisses Agumon. And then it ends.
Yeah, it was really it.
And also the end credits have Hirari and the bassist who is hanging out with Rhythm and Agumon, which is the best part of this movie. Actually, the best part of the movie is the sausage fight.
To me, actually, I like the sausage bit, but it was the second version when she does the big punch. She goes, whoa!
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not just a thing you did once, it's now you take yourself really seriously. What I think is missing, I think this bit's funny. I don't think it belongs on LaLaMon. It's obviously way too late for it, and it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, I'm happy.
What would have made way more sense is for Palmon to have this stuff and draw the connection to her being a boxer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, she's not for a while, and then she becomes Togemon, and then when she devolves, she's just picked some stuff up.
Yeah, she's all punchy.
That'd be super funny.
That'd be cute. I would have liked that. What were your thoughts about this movie?
I've basically said all of them. I feel like they had an idea, and then they were told you have 20 minutes, and they were like, well, there's no way for us to fit an idea into that time. So we give up. Or alternatively, like, they were halfway through writing an idea and then they were told, we're releasing this tomorrow, you have to give it to the animators now.
Or like they wrote an hour and a half movie or an hour movie, like just a 60-minute movie as all the other ones have been, or even a 45-minute movie. Because I'm pretty sure the majority of the Digimon movies have been 45 minutes or an hour. And this one is probably the shortest, maybe?
Definitely. It's 21 minutes. It's easily the shortest.
That's an episode. See,
It's shorter than an episode.
I personally found that Masaru showing up kind of ruined the movie. And it became more or less like a big fight at the end.
I don't think it necessarily ruined the movie.
No.
But what it needed to be was the way V-Tamer does it, where like when they work together, it's a big deal.
Yes.
But the thing is, he just shows up and he's a Digivice holder.
No, alternatively, yeah, and you're right about the whole V-Tamer strategy thing, but alternatively, have it like, what do we do without humans? We can't evolve. We have to work together and we have to show strategy because he's a perfect level and we're just 3 children. And I would have really liked to see them use some strategy like they were using in the opening theme where they were sort of fighting and interacting and doing things and each having their own strength. But I feel like it could have done more of the Atmon way of like strategizing.
Working
like,
together.
The Digimon is stronger than us. What are we going to do?
But you see, the problem with that is that would mean that you have to take the focus off of Agumon as the only character that matters.
Yes.
Because remember, Galmon and Lalamon are connected to Toma and Joshi, and they don't matter.
Rhythm only thanked Agumon. She said, "Thank you, Agumon."
I actually thought that was really funny.
Like,
it's so stupid.
Lalamon and Galmon separated and also still fought. Lalamon actually fought the most in the opening part. Like, she was
protected her directly.
She was the focus of the opening part. There was more time spent with Lalamon and her sausage than Galmon or Agumon put together. Like, the opening was just Lalamon protecting Rhythm.
And Rhythm was there, she knows. She was holding a frying pan.
Fighting with her life. Why doesn't Rhythm say, thank you, Lalamon, for protecting me directly, or for being so cool with that sausage and then giving me some sausage? That was great.
Yeah, give me the sausage.
Like, I'm sorry, Lalamon did amazing in this, and so did Galmon, so I don't know. But anyway, as I was saying, I feel like they could have addressed the handicap of not having humans there to evolve, despite we know that they can evolve without the Digisoul. And I don't know, I feel like it could have been this really great strategy thing where we're trying to work out, oh, how do we fight? Oh, we'll have to use strategy, and we use, like, the strength of Lalamon. Lalamon, you know, been really useful with the hordes of Goblimon? Instead of, you know, leaving Galmon and leaving Lalamon to fight the Goblimon. Sing a song.
Sunshine Beam!
Sing a song. She literally can put things to sleep.
That's true.
Without anything. Like, she's able to put groups of things to sleep.
It's fine, though.
How come she never used Sing a Song with, like, we have to fight Agumon. Oh, no, the hordes of Goblimon are distracting us.
I would argue
Sing a song.
that given this new version of her character, she just really likes to fight.
She's punchy.
My name is Lalamon, and I love to fight.
Yeah, I also found it was
Wait.
It was basically an extra episode, but there's nowhere, as I said before,
It
that we can
couldn't
place.
exist.
Yeah, this like it's after Karada, but the Digimon humans are together, so it can't be like after the show. And I don't know, it feels like it was an episode that they wrote the script of, and they really, really liked, but they couldn't fit it in. But also maybe they wrote it as a movie, but they wrote it as too long of a movie. I don't know.
Longer than 20 minutes. Oh no, what a movie.
And again, LiTlemon and Galmon being mainly more or less really useless in the second half of it kind of was annoying, because I'm just like, why is Agumon the focus? Like,
It is not enough time, that's why.
and I kept feeling like Rhythm was going to do something really, really, really cool.
They never did anything.
Like, or maybe be linked to Agumon in some way, besides the end part, which is just like,
Well, we just know the name, and that's it. And also, they recognized each other.
yes. But there was no, like, we didn't get any story.
None at
besides, like, I can now fight Agumon despite him being in an egg.
I think there's like a full series of interview questions for Jeff Nimoy just based on this movie.
Well, Jeff Nimoy didn't make the movie. He didn't make the movie.
Oh, no, okay, but then for the career... Well, I'm sure he would have, like, known why they didn't make
I'm
one.
going to ask him why, and he probably says, oh, it was bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it.
Because it was, badly received.
What was the
maybe.
rating?
I gave it a 5 because it wasn't painful to watch, but it was otherwise nothing interesting happened.
See, I gave it an 8 just because of I really liked the opening, but
I hope you've rethought that 8.
I'm gonna have to put it down to like a 6.5 or a 7, maybe a 6, because it was okay. It was fine. It wasn't terrible. It could have been better. Like this, how often do we say, "Oh, it could have been better if it was longer"?
Very rarely.
Like, we often say, man, this would have been, like, Hurricane Touchdown was improved upon in the English dub because they took out half an hour.
That is true, because that movie sucked.
And we could always feel like, oh, maybe if they cut out this half an hour, like of X Evolution, and put in half an hour in place, which was explanations that were throughout the movie, that would have improved X Evolution greatly.
I have a theory.
Could be bunnies?
My theory is that perhaps I was wrong about this. Maybe the movie was a full-length, complete 1-hour thing that was completely done, but it was so bad and made so little sense they had to cut it down to what it is. And maybe we should be thankful, because it's entirely possible that Rhythm is a character that ruins all of Digimon.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true, but there is a possibility that a version exists that is full length and terrible.
Like Hurricane Touchdown, which was still
I'm thinking like midi-chlorian terrible.
Yeah, but like, because Hurricane Touchdown still wasn't amazing in the English dub.
Or she says like, I'm a hybrid. I have like one human parent and one Digimon parent, and I'm like what humans can achieve. And that was cool until they thought about it.
And that's why Agumon hates her.
Like they're total. Maybe she's his daughter. These are all theories, and they're all kind of interesting.
Yeah, but they could be also written badly.
There are also reasons that you would cut it forever. I'm fascinated. I wonder if the director or writer are still alive.
So, do you think, was this better than X Evolution?
Yes.
Because they're both more or less human-free movies.
Yeah, it's better than X Evolution, because X Evolution was boring and sucked, and this thing had funny moments in it and was not long. So... I can't, like, I got to the end of this and I was like, oh, like with all Digimon, I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't had to do that. But having had to do it, it was like, well, that was fine.
I just feel like it could have actually been longer. I do not get that
feeling from X Evolution.
Yeah. Oh no, and you were like, I have to watch this again for the podcast. The whole time we've been watching Digimon with the podcast, before we did X Evolution, you said, I have to watch X Evolution again.
Wanted to die. Now I've seen it again. Still want to die.
Now let's rank all the Digimon movies, because this is the last Digimon movie until Try.
Cool.
Alright, so worst one.
The worst one is X Evolution.
I have that. I have that in my ranking. I already wrote down my ranking, just so you know. Second worst, I put down Hurricane Touchdown. Good. Sixth, I have Battle of Adventurers, even though I kind of liked it.
Which one's that?
It's the one with the dog that dies in the water.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure the train one is worse.
Runaway Lokomon?
Yeah, that's worse.
I thought that was okay.
No, but it's boring. Battle of Adventurers, at least kind of something happens in it. Like the train one, nothing happens in it.
Okay, what about in fifth place?
Well, then Battle of Adventures.
Sixth place. I have Battle of Adventures. So
sixth place. Wait, how many movies are there?
So there are 8. X Evolution is my bottom. We'll just start again because
X Evolution, Hurricane Touchdown, Lokomon, A Battle of Adventurers.
Okay, I've got that the other way around. I've got Battle of Adventures, then Runaway Lokomon. Fourth one, I have Digimon: The Frontier movie, because that was actually quite okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
Like, that was probably the best part of Frontier.
Yeah.
And how often do we say, wow, the best part of that series was the movie?
That was the worst of the decent movies, yeah.
Yeah. Third, I have Digimon Adventure, which is the prequel.
If you count it, sure.
I definitely count it. Then for the second one, I have Devilmon Strikes Back.
Yeah, I guess.
first place our war game.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so
Then Zero Summer Wars. So much better.
okay, but
Summer
that's
Wars
not
is
Digimon.
my favorite Digimon movie,
But that's
hands
not
down.
Digimon.
I love that.
So just to run it through, 8th place was X Evolution.
There's a bunny in it.
The only one that Jay and I disagreed on was Hurricane Touchdown and Battle of Adventure. Hurricane Touchdown we agreed on. So that was 7th. 6th and 5th we disagreed on.
Yeah.
We have Battle of Adventures and
It's pretty much the same, though.
Runaway Lokomon, and then we reversed it for Jay.
I would tie them for 6th.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like the train one was a little bit better because it had something. It focused on Ruki. It had like.
Did it? I don't remember anything about it, but there was a train in it.
It had like Ruki having like a moment about her father, and she was really sad.
I bet that was super relevant.
She became sort of like the D-Reaper jury and tried to kill Ikuto with like a hatchet.
Do not remember that at
Okay.
all.
No, it's not a hatchet, it's a pipe. They're on a train. She starts like trying to kill him with a pipe.
Oh, was that the haunted train?
Yes, that was the haunt.
Oh, that was crap.
No, it was fine.
Oh, that was crap.
No, and then this Digimon Frontier movie in 4th place, which best part of Frontier.
Yeah.
And then Digimon Adventure in 3rd place, which is the prequel.
Yep.
Devilmon Strikes Back in 2nd place, and our war game in 1st place.
Sure, why not?
And yeah, and then we got nothing until Try. Screenshot of the week. I have Lalamon and sausages because that was the best scene in the whole movie.
I have the bit where Ogamon's on Ogamon's face, and he's like, "Bleh," and just like vomits fire on him, and Lalamon's in the background, I'm like, what? No!
Lalamon's faces in basically all the background shots are amazing. Like whoever did this is really like wanted Lalamon to be as emotive as possible.
No, they just had a higher animation budget in the first place.
No, I'm just saying that Lalamon is constantly like in Savers, she's always doing a derp face. Whoever animated this wanted Lalamon to always be reacting to what was going on. I think whoever animated this favorite character is Lalamon.
It's the money they saved on the recap where she's never moves at all.
That's because Lalamon doesn't have any emotion. There were Digimon introduced in these episodes. Argamon.
I already talked about it.
Rhythm.
Well, she sure is Card Capture Sakura. Sure is.
For I will show you Digi-World, which we haven't had for a while. We have the Savers.
I've seen everything.
We have the Savers character songs, which was suggested by Ellie Vorg. All the characters have them, except for Yoshino and Lalamon, who don't have them, not because the rhymes don't care about them, but because they're actually idols, and they cost a lot more, and they didn't have the money to pay them.
That is what it is. Yeah, all these songs suck.
Yeah, compared to the other seasons of Digimon, which have had quite good character songs, especially Atmon. All the Atmon ones are good.
Far and away so much better.
Like, it's really hard to say which one's your least favourite. I guess Eugen's one, but that's also quite good.
I can't remember it.
It's
very much.
Eugen singing and then Offmon saying things he doesn't like and off.
Oh yeah, that jump.
Off.
I think it's
jump.
I think that chorus is really annoying. But the rest of it's good.
And then there's, I guess, Ray's the second worst, but I also really like that because Ray's like singing and Hackmon's like just talking.
I love that though. He's like all singing and he's like, "What are you doing, Ray? Stop it! Come on, no, chill, please, stop singing."
And he's like replying to like making jokes and being like really adorable.
Love it.
And then Astro Museumon's really good, Eri and Dokumon's really good, Haru and Gatchamon's really good. But as back to Savers, like the character songs, like I didn't care much. Like it's cute that Agumon's singing about eggs.
It was a trash song though. It sounded terrible.
Ikuto and Falcomon's was cute.
And like it didn't sound terrible in the way of like, oh, he's putting on a Digimon voice, so of course it would be bad. The music in all of these things sucks. It's so like, no one could make this sound good. It doesn't matter how good a singer you are, these songs are bad. They're objectively just not fun to listen to. I don't think any of them are good. Some of them are slightly better, like the one where it's Masaru and Toma together with their Digimon. Yeah. That's all right.
Team ? is probably the best song. Also, it has like Masaru and Toma like arguing, and Galmon says, "Hey, I've mastered this special operation. What's next?" And Toma's just too busy arguing with Masaru to reply to his Digimon. The Ikuto and Falcomon was quite cute. Galmon's solo one was quite good, but I mean comparatively. But I know there was none of them where I was like, I want to listen to that again.
Basically, how could you, Ellie Vorg? How could you?
But they were still okay. Like team.
No, they weren't. Don't lie to me and say they were okay.
I thought they were okay.
It's because you like Digimon.
But then we immediately, like Jay and I started to talk about character songs from Digimon that we do like. I had to show him Love Sarah Serenade, which is Edamon's.
Yeah, which was much better.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Gorgeous! Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Did you know that there
Number
are
one!
monkeys around here?
And then the stage play is always fantastic.
Oh, it's really fun.
And we also spoke about Bokumon and Namon's character song,
Ganbachi.
which is really great. And
I miss pants snapping. That was easily the only good thing in Frontier.
the movie. And the potential lore.
Look, the movie was fine. Pants snapping is forever.
Ganpachi! But yeah, so we listened to them. We don't have much to say about them because like...
I said plenty. I've
Yeah.
said everything there is to say. They were trash.
But none of them really sort of jumped out at me as phenomenal. But that's fine. Like, I'm glad I have listened to them before, but like, I guess there's a reason I probably only listened to them once or twice, because they're just okay. Yeah, sorry that we didn't really enjoy the character songs for Savers that much. There are also ones for Frontier.
We listened to at least... No, wait, Frontier? Yeah, I don't think we have listened to them.
Takuya's is the best in Frontier. But, and Azumi's okay. But yeah, so that's it for the character songs. For Postmon Pat this week, first up for the weekly poll, the question is, should Spencer/Suguru have stayed dead in Digimon Savers/Data Squad? So, total votes were 9, and Jay will read the comments, and I will read the results afterwards.
We got one from Amani who says, before listening to this episode of the podcast, I would have said yes, because I would have preferred to see Masaru have to deal with the consequences of having killed his father, essentially. But now the headcanon that Yggdrasil brought back Spencer by aging up Bancho-Leomon's Digi-Egg, and the two are the same, but sharing Suguru's body instead, is the best ever, and it's what I'm going to be using to explain it to myself from now on. Chuckmon says, I'm amazed by comparison at the level of disdain shown for Frontier with their magical tears resolution in saving Koichi, and the general acceptance of Yggdrasil simply giving back Suguru as a gift to Masaru to end Savers.
Oh no, I think it's dumb.
The difference is that one is magic by humans in the real world, and the other one is magic by God.
Yeah, to be fair, Yggdrasil is God.
Like, they're not comparable. Magical tears in a hospital room are different to God in his own world that presumably he's the god of. And we've seen him do magic before. He made a tree. It's a whole thing. Yes, it's critical to have Suguru back in making it okay for Masaru to disappear with Agumon into the digital world at the end, so we can leave Sayuri in a good place of not losing both husband and son. But this ending is really lame, especially given that Suguru's soul was mixed with Bancho-Leomon's, and his body was taken by Yggdrasil earlier. Of the two, I'll take the Frontier ending. Koji and Koichi, brothers forever. Although, like Amani, I do love the headcanon we came up with to explain how it happened. But our acceptance of the event, especially mine, is surprising. I'm going to maintain it. God did it.
I still would think that he should have stayed dead or be Bancho-Leomon.
I think they should... Oh, yeah, if it was just Bancho-Leomon in the body, that'd be funny.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, it is not your father, for it is I. Ora, 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 ora.
And Masaru goes, okay, but you can't tell Sayuri that.
You can't tell Chiku, you can't tell
That
Sayuri.
would be so weird. Elivorg says, Suguru coming back to life was necessary because if he hadn't, Masaru would not have left for the digital world. He wouldn't have abandoned his mother and sister while knowing that his dad is gone and never coming back, given how much he felt responsible for filling the father role in the family without him. And since Masaru leaving to be with Agumon forever is their favourite part of the ending, they're friends! They're cool with this. What they think happened from a writing perspective is this. The writers always planned Masaru to go to the digital world at the end. This is foreshadowed both by a line in episode 2 and by the opening being going, my soul, because it'll take me away. Suguru dying was probably not planned long in advance, but was the most dramatically impactful way to do things when the story reached that point. Then they got to the last episode and remembered that Masaru was supposed to leave and that it would be out of character for him to do so with his dad dead. So they somewhat awkwardly had Yggdrasil bring Suguru back. I don't actually mind from an emotional reaction standpoint either, because his dad staying dead would have been emotional, but also emotional is the whole Daimon family being reunited again after 10 years. I have a lot of feelings about the Daimon family, okay?
Alright, so as for the results, which I allegedly have closed for some reason. That was smart of me. So as I said, we had 9 total votes, and I know for a fact that yes won with 6 votes, no one with 3 votes. What do you think? Should Suguru have stayed dead?
I think that it would have been fine. On the other hand... No, I don't like that they walked back him dying, really. I just don't. The explanation is fine and the ending is good. I think you could justify Masaru going away anyway. Him saying, look, it's what a man has to do. A man has to look after his family as well. But Sayuri's obviously self-sufficient. She's been taking care of her 2 kids. Masaru hasn't had a job or anything. He's not actually been doing anything other than being a man and being around the house as being a man of the house. He's not been providing for them or protecting them from anything. All things considered, Sayuri would have an easier time only raising 1 child. So I don't think it would be that damaging. And it's one of those things where thematically the Daimon men go to the digital world, and that's like the curse of the family. And there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. So I think it still would have been better if you stayed dead. Yeah, you?
I'm still team LostinTranslationmon should have been back as well. I feel like that would have greatly improved everything.
It would have made more sense.
Just if like he just still brought both back, and we finally have a Leomon that doesn't really die.
Yeah, but too bad. Leomons always die. So we have a message on Reddit from Odaiba Memorial who says they just watched the stage play themselves, and boy, was it weird. They still can't believe it actually exists. Also, they're sure that I was thrilled that they managed to bring Vamdemon back as the true villain again. I did. It was really funny. I almost believed that it was actually just him, not just like something in that body. It was disappointing, but it's still good that it was like that was the final villain.
And also, Devimon was there.
At least as far as adventure goes, it's tradition. Can't wait for that Try episode 6. Still holding out for Super Vamdemon. This Vamdemon, in fact.
We'll have Devimon. It'll be Devilmon Crybaby.
Devil May Crymon.
No, Devilmon Crybaby after that new anime.
Yeah, apparently that's really good.
The internet's all on about it.
I've only seen 2 YouTube titles saying, is this already anime of the year? And that's all I've got. I need to look into it.
That's all I know. All I know is also Devilmon Crybaby. Because Devimon.
Yeah. On YouTube, we got one from The Code Crown who says, if I recall correctly, Wiz 9000 is a merging reference to Wiz, who released the original Digimon Monster, and HAL 9000.
Did Wiz release the original Digimon Monster? I thought that was just Bandai. Anyway, continue.
We got one on With the Will from McGann who says, regarding Data Squad, they really like how it ends with Marcus going to the digital world. It's a nice twist on the usual ending.
It is.
In a way, he ended up like Tai, a digital world diplomat, only with punching, and thus superior. I can't remember where he said it, but Jeff Nimoy drew a parallel between his Data Squad ending theory and Izzy trying to cure the infection in Tri. So in his continuity, Data Squad could actually be a simulation run by a sleep-deprived oolong tea-fueled Izzy. And regarding the stage play, if you take the Digimon as a metaphor for childhood, I think of them sticking around rather than being left behind. Like, similar stories can be taken a few ways. In a way, childhood never leaves you and always informs who you are, as it continues to for the kids in Tri, in which they even say their partners are their hope, which can be interpreted as the optimism of their childhoods. And you know what? I see that, but the difference is like it's not so much like the memories of you will remain, or like in V-Tamer where he's still got the Digivice, right? But he's obviously moved on. The actual monsters are just always there, and what's important is they will always rely on them, which is to say they will never be fully independent of it. Their childhood being around as a supporting force is one thing, but like as a crutch, which is kind of what having the Digimon around actually is, it's a bit too much for me for that metaphor to stand up. They say that they thought that Metal Greymon puppet looked awesome. I disagree, but that's cool. I thought it looked a bit silly.
I thought it looked fine.
Seeing Edamon achieve his king form was nice. Yeah, it was. It was a sick surprise.
It was nice.
And then there's really a terrific companion piece to the Tri films. It's funny to say this was the anti-episode 5 because after Coexistence left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. This is a big shot to their enthusiasm for Tri. That and the Confession dub. And that's fair. Like, if you really thought, like, oh man, Digimon's all about this new character and they can't write anything good and unique. Well, they can, clearly.
And they mentioned Mako as well. Like, they didn't just say, oh, we don't care about Mako. They mentioned Mako and they mentioned Makomon.
It just wasn't important.
But it was August 1st and Mako wasn't there. It would have been weird if they invited Mako. I'm like, hey, Mako, do you want to celebrate this thing you weren't here for?
You know what Try Chapter 5 would have done?
What?
It's August 1st. You know what that means? It's Mako's birthday!
Oh, no.
Yeah, Mako Day! And as far as Lane, it's interesting to see you guys go into this the past couple episodes, and they wonder if it'll last. To see us go into
see us so into it. You're misreading
to see us so into this
because we
misread that.
We're getting it. We seem more into it than we have been, and
because
that's true.
The plot's coming together, maybe,
which is good, and that's good.
And damn, we've had a busy week. Yeah, we did. We got one from Viper's Roof. Yeah, sure.
I read that as Viper of 02.
Viper
of
02.
I don't know. Is it Viper of 2?
Viperzero.
Anyway, onto the comment.
Viperzero of 2. That seems unlikely. I'm up to date on your Lane podcast. It's a show people love or hate, but a lot of it will make more sense at the end if you feel like looking back. I think the emotional part of it is one of the reasons it has been able to stick around for 20 years. Also, you have a very good voice. No idea who they're talking about.
I would say both of us because we're both fantastic.
Oh, look, I'll take it. We got a Gmail from Embermoto who says, regarding episode 47, if this is Drazel's true form, then why isn't he in this form more often? And they did not know about the theory or headcanon that Drazel and Data Squad Universe was a program created by Izzy. It still doesn't make any sense.
King Drazel was also beaten in that form by a punch from Masaru, and Masaru wasn't able to punch any other form of King Drazel, so...
Not in the first one, before the Crystal Core comes out.
Yeah.
Like that first form, there was no reason for them to need a human body. In fact, you could argue the human body's a weakness, because they didn't have the big vine arms.
Yes.
So that also made no sense. Fair enough. Good catch. Regarding episode 48, okay, so why do some of these people have DNA charges and some don't? Why do Keenan's parents have the charge, or Samson? So why doesn't Samson have?
Samson does have a Digisoul, because we see him when he evolves Kudamon.
Why Gotsumon? Why do you want to stay in the human world?
Because he's so attracted to these humans that he technically just met.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's a throwback to when Gotsumon was trying to kill them.
The least...
Like, actively trying to kill them, like, actively causing a cave-in to kill them.
I want to take issue with this next one. The least climactic battle in Digimon ever. We beat the bad guy by talking to them about friendship. Well, the same thing happened in V-Tamer, and it was the best.
Also, the same thing happened in Zero Two, but it wasn't about friendship, it was about ambitions. It was like, I want to be a noodle cart driver. I want to be a manga artist.
Did they beat the bad guy that way?
Yeah. They were trying to fight him, and all their Digimon devolved, and he went over to the digital world because it's what he wanted. He broke through the illusion palace or whatever it was, and the only way they could was bringing all the little evil children. And Daisuke said, hey, but I have my ambition is to become a noodle cart driver. And he says, what, you must have ambitions, small children. And the small children all say their hopes about what they want to be.
It's so dumb.
And all of the hopes and dreams get to Malo Vandemon and destroy him.
What a good time. What a terrible show. They're going to say, how the bleep is the dad still alive? And Marcus spent all this time trying to get his dad back, and now you're just going to leave? Now that his dad is back, Marcus no longer has to be trapped by this responsibility, and with the digital being this great brand, a new frontier for him to explore, the digital world presumably. And they kind of want like a short 12 episode series of Data Squad, like post sort of after the series. Maybe 1 or 2 episodes focusing on each character. I think that would be cool. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it'd be cool. Ryuichi...
It might also go on too much. Except
12 is a lot of episodes.
Except for Masaru, I think everything else will be slice of life.
Ryuichi says, the surprise in the Confession Dub coverage podcast that we didn't mention the change. If we wait for someday, we'll end up becoming adults, which changed to, we'll end up old and grey. It was one of the top 2 lines in the entire series so far for them, and they changed it. They think it has a lot less punch, which I can see, because one is that Digimon theme of childhood to adult growing up, whereas the other one is like, oh, we'll be old men. It's not about becoming adults, it's just about time passing, and I see that. As for Tundra, I know a lot of people who aren't into Japan and anime that know the term from pop culture, so I think that it would have been okay to leave it as tsundere. At least it would be one less step of people understanding that that's what they meant. The thing is, you can have it as tsundere and have the person making a mistake, but you have to have a subtitle explaining what's going on, and then that doesn't work. So I think you have to reel it back and just yell tsundere in the English version. That probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, and then being confused because they're speaking English.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
And would either of you like to hear some of the English music in the dub? And
yes.
The answer is...
Yes, because nostalgia. Like, Hey Digimon and Run Around, I don't know, the people be
Not for
cool.
me, I wouldn't.
Mainly because nostalgia for me.
I mean, they did... When they did the new... I would like to hear the Digi-Rap again. That's what I want to hear.
Yes.
Not this crap new version that sucked. They saw that we're at the point where Banshee-Leomon is revealed to be Marcus's dad. They guessed it early on as well, but they were misled by Yggdrasil having his body. And they love and hate the ending of Savers. They're excited to see a human stay in the digital world after the series for once. And re-listening to old podcast episodes from beginning to see how rankings compare, audio quality has really improved. They'd be really interested if we want to go back and look at our older episodes again. There's 2 episodes at the very beginning that sounded like we were reviewing Atmon. We were praising and analyzed them so highly. They're sure they wouldn't be rated so highly now, but it's interesting to hear. I don't think I'm ever going back to look at those shows. I'm sorry, I don't have the patience in my life.
Well, I kind of do want to go back to them once we're finished with all the Digimon. Maybe not with Jay, but with other people I know.
You're not with me. And I mentioned being interested in the Digi-Court in Season 6, because I remember once we were in Sydney and I woke up and I saw a Digi-Court and there was this... The judge who was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was like, I don't understand what's going on here. And May's like, it's Digimon! And I'm like, I want to go play Magic. And since we're getting close, keep an eye out. Jay can know he has something to look forward to soon. I still don't look forward to it, really. I just look forward to all the weird celebrity voices coming back, like in Adventure. Or celebrity
And
impersonator
Tamers.
voices.
I'm sorry, Tamers had Christopher Walken.
Was it just like once, though?
What?
Just like once.
Yeah.
And Andrew says, they learned something recently about Frontier that reminded them of something that I said, that I would always say during the podcast. It feels like Frontier was written week to week. It turns out that this is fairly true. By all accounts, the series was pretty much behind the 8-ball, with the production crew not knowing whether or not there'd still be a show to work on after each episode. That's crazy!
Wow.
At one point, they were told they only had 4 episodes left to wrap things up, which resulted in the rush to defeat Cherubimon, which you can tell wasn't in keeping with the original version for the fight, but was adequate enough to get the job done. This would have left the remaining handful of episodes to deal with LiTimon, who was always intended to be the final villain of the season. But then they were granted a last-minute extension, and that 4-episode plot suddenly had to fill 13 episodes of runtime, which is why there's such a disconnect between the Royal Knights arc and the rest of the show. They have nothing to do with the larger lore of Frontier, and are quite literally there to kill time. And boy, does it feel like it.
Because LiTimon is foreshadowed fairly early on in Frontier. I would really like to actually see a source for this fact. I think it's really
if you could
interesting.
send that through to us and like where you heard that and stuff, it's really interesting.
Yeah, because that would be interesting, and that actually does explain a lot about Frontier, about how like it does seem rushed in some parts and just inconsistent, I guess.
And we got one from Ellie Vorg on Tumblr who says, King Drazel's line in the dub is not "Where were the humans when the Digimon world was attacked?" It's "Where were the Digimon," quote, like in brackets, who support humans, when the digital world was attacked. The former would indeed be a neat line, but the latter makes no sense. Maybe that was me misquoting it. I was thinking of it favorably because it sounded better. The Digisoul that Sleepmon burned up is presumably the Digisoul he got from Satsuma. I still think it's just his personal energy and they said the wrong word. You see a brief shot of him burning it up and it's the same color as Satsuma's. Oh, that's fair enough then. Since he's in Sleepmon form from Satsuma's Digisoul charge, it makes sense. He's using up the energy that he evolved with, resulting in him reverting to Ikutomon. You know what would have made way more sense? If he just intentionally de-evolved and then he would be a smaller Digimon in the big space that Sleepmon would have left in the ice and he could have just broken out.
That's fair.
I don't think they ever even thought of it. And King Drazel's lines, when it's revealed to be a computer, are different. Originally, Yggdrasil said that its experiments on Digimon evolution had failed due to human intervention. This hints that actually it might have always wanted humans out of its way because their meddling in the digital world interfered with its purpose. Kind of like how Toma observed a few episodes back that Yggdrasil might see humans as a virus. But in the dub, King Drazel says it was experimenting on humans and Digimon interaction, and this experiment failed due to an error, which is not explained. What error, where? We never see any indication of some external computer error, and if its experiment was about human and Digimon interaction, then that experiment looks like a success. The result of the experiment was they don't get along very well, with few exceptions, but a negative result is still a result. Toma is stated to be 19 when he receives his Nobel Prize, which is what proves that the epilogue is 5 years later. This is in the dub too, although given Marcus's Schrodinger's age and the fact that Thomas's age is not given a number and is only stated to be the same as Marcus's, I guess that means the dub's epilogue is either 5 or 3 years later, and we're not sure. I don't understand why we're so convinced that Savers doesn't warrant a sequel. To me, it has the most sequel potential of any Digimon series, and not just because it's the best one. One of the themes throughout the series is the desire to create a world where humans and Digimon can live together, and they never managed to do so by the end of the series. There's just a vague, well, maybe if/when we reopen the gate, things will be better. I want to see them create that world. I want to see how Masaru's been acting like an ambassador for humanity throughout his adventures in the digital world. A lot of Digimon will still hate and fear humans for very understandable reasons, so who better to convince them that humans aren't so bad, but the one human still in the digital world, someone whose philosophy revolves around getting your true feelings across to people. I want to see Toma using his influence as a Norstein and a Nobel Prize winner to spread the word about Digimon. Most humans who learned of Digimon's experiences during the near apocalypse probably see them as monsters who likely caused it all, and they need to be persuaded otherwise too. Actually creating a world where humans and Digimon live side by side won't be easy, so there's plenty of conflict potential for a series that has that interspecies harmony as the end goal. My problem with this is that the ending is way too nice. Everyone's so happy. Like, to add a sequel would be to undermine the entire ending. And I don't see it, right? Like, the problem is the digital world is so small and so uninteresting. And also, God just said, I will look on from the sidelines and not not worry right now. Masaru, this is your responsibility to look after it. The only way I could see this is A, Masaru is the only character in the new series and he's dealing with this stuff alone, or the bad guy is the government. The problem is the bad guy was already the government. There's no upward mobility. Who could be okay, in a sequel, the bad guy has to be different and usually has to be better or bigger than the original bad guy so that you get a feeling of progression. Who is bigger in the real world than the government? Who knows? And who's bigger in the digital world than God? Probably no one. There's just nowhere for the series to go, as far as I can see. I definitely think you could write a second season. I just don't think it actually warrants it. And it would be really difficult to write. And obviously, it's probably not worth it, since they didn't even translate this movie.
Which is sad. Oh, speaking of which, I actually I asked on Twitter to Jeff Nimoy about that. Jeff Nimoy obviously hasn't gotten back yet because it's probably like early morning where he is, I'd guess. But Mark from With the Will said that as he recalls, Toei USA had no interest in or budget in dealing with anything that didn't have a guaranteed deal for at a time. And if
Digimon was trash at the time?
If Data Squad had been an unqualified success, it would have been dubbed as a TV special or something. And
that's pretty much what I thought it was. It was like, no one's watching this.
Ironically, had the game and show came out just a few years later, it would have probably gotten the movie. But so no reply from Jeff Nimoy yet. If we do get a reply that's different from that, we'll say it. But hopefully we get a reply.
And Trickstar Holiday Angel says, this week on LostinTranslationmon, May tries to canonize their Savers Rule 34 fic. Jay tries to ignore them.
You tried really hard to ignore me.
I really did. It was super annoying.
I believed in you.
Alright everybody, join us for the next episode of Devilman Crybaby, Agumon, Galmon, and LiTymon, Explosion, the last battle off-screen.
And we don't have a dub name for that episode because the dub episode doesn't actually exist. But we'll also be discussing Digimon Savers and Digimon Data Squad as a whole season sort of discussion summary episode, and we'll be releasing the listener opinion questions soon, hopefully as soon as I possibly can. And so yeah, that's what we're doing next week. Yay! So obviously no Obnox synopsis for next week either. For Weekly Wonders this week, I didn't actually do anything new this week. I rollerbladed. I did about that. I can't just say rollerblading every time. I guess, what did I do this week? Oh, I started watching Hannibal, so I'm just gonna say Hannibal. Hannibal's alright. Watch Hannibal. Will Graham is a very attractive human being. If you want to watch an attractive human being be intelligent, watch Hannibal. It's fairly old. It's a couple years old now. It's also got Gillian Anderson in it, who's also my girlfriend. I love her. And that's what I did. What did you do, Jay?
Did I do anything of interest at all? I've been playing lots of Overwatch. I think we've talked about that. I did not start Doki Doki Literature Club yet.
I haven't started that either.
Almost did. So that doesn't count. I have been watching Hearthstone videos.
You always do that though.
Yeah, I know. Like, I didn't do anything interesting this week.
You're about to go to a Magic the Gathering pre-release.
I am. Rivals of Ixalan is coming out. I can talk about that a bit. It's got the Ascend mechanic. It's not really all that good. Like, it's good. It's just not pushed hard enough. And that's it's also one of the weirdest mechanics I've ever seen in my life, because it doesn't trigger. It's just a thing. Do you know anything about it?
No.
The Ascend mechanic, when I first saw it, I thought it was like when you do this thing, trigger, and if you have 10 or more permanents, then you get the special effect, right?
Yes.
But it's not. If you have a thing with Ascend already on board and just play your 10th permanent, then it also works. It's when you play this or when you get 10 and you've already have this thing. It's just a weird static effect. And you're always going to get there because eventually you will get 10 lands. So it just upgrades your cards later in the game. And it's just a strange thing it's doing. But there's some really cool transforming lands in this set. Some really disgusting ones, in fact. There's one that taps for X colors, X mana of any color that you want, and that X is equal to your life total.
Right.
So you can tap for 20 below. It's really gross. Yeah, there's some really funny stuff in it. And also there's a lore implication of the Azorius Perun, the guy who founded the Azorius Senate in Ravnica, living on Ixalan.
Right.
That's also weird. There's some cool stuff in it. Basically, I'm really excited to go play Magic after this.
Cool.
I have to drop by home to pick up sleeves. I'm dumb.
But it's also, you have time.
I do have plenty of time.
So this week's weekly poll is, should Masaru have just stayed in a coma and be along with the other humans in a coma in this movie? You can find linked up in the description, and you can also find our screenshots of the week, weekly wonders, and our weekly poll linked in the description and in our linked up. Our Redbubble is also linked in the description, and you can get more than just shirts there too. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message on SoundCloud. You can follow us at TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on LostinTranslationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will and a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit, and we would appreciate if you would review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast listening app that you use. Ratings really do assist people finding out about the podcast, so please help us out, and also, of course, we'll read it out in Postmon Pat. We also have a website, and you can vote in our weekly polls, check out our release schedule, and check out our blog posts. You can also donate to our Patreon, which is in the description, from as little as $1 a month, and that gets you access to a list of Slack chat group, but there are other higher levels with rewards such as notes, early episodes, and more.
And thank you to our Patreon supporters, Sam Krieger, who has a podcast with Stevie called The Moncast, Stevie, who's also Stevie Padmon on Tumblr and is currently taking commissions there, Wu Qinglong, who you can find at twitch.tv/Wu Qinglong, Metal Mamemon, Joe, Anime Guy, who's Anime Guy Kurosaki and the number 1 on YouTube, Chuckmon, Hiro Lado, who's at Hiro Lado on Twitter, Jason Morosky, Ryuchi, who's Frost Miragic on Archive of Our Own, and inkit.com/Ryden Allen, Stephen Rees, who's at WildWing64 on Twitter, Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Chisai, who you can follow at Chisai236 on Tumblr, Kyle, The Lady Bugman, whose anime blog you can read at bagubaragu.wordpress.com, Glitchgoat, Azra McCool, Gene Hackmon, who hosts New World Sonata, which is a sci-fi and fantasy audio drama podcast, Matthew, Anthony, who's at AntoClassic on Twitter, Elizabeth, who's Elekmon on Tumblr, Sithobi, Ellie Vorg, who's Ellie Vorg on Tumblr, Sporky McForkinspoon, who hosts a Digimon podcast called Going Digital, Megan, Kyliek, Neobu, The Time Optimist, Silverhead Freak 25, who's at SHF25 tweets on Twitter, Harvey, Alex, Nicholas, and Thunder.
You can also make one-off donation out of PayPal, which is found in the description. It's paypal.me/Edgemon. Make sure to listen to the podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.